Hello, I'm Cheryl Clarke, Superintendent of the Monson Public Schools, and I'd like to welcome you to Clarke's Corner. Every episode of Clarke's Corner highlights some of the wonderful things that are happening in the Monson Public Schools. And today's episode is very special because we have 3 guests, the principals at each of our schools in the district, and they're going to share some of the programs and initiatives that they're working on. Welcome. So if you could just introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Suzanne Tetrault, the principal at the Early Childhood Center.
I am Joe Trevisano, principal at Granite Valley.
And I'm Matt Sullivan, the principal at Monson High School.
Yay! Very proud of all of you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I know you're all in kind of different stages of being administrators. Suzanne, you've been there for a couple of years. Mr. Trevisano, this is your first year as principal?
Yep.
And Mr. Sullivan, you are a mid-year principal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right. So maybe we could just kind of go down the line and talk about one of the things that you're particularly proud of or that you're working on in your building. So Suzanne, we'll start with you.
All right, so when we consolidated across the district, the Early Childhood Center was created. And so it's truly an early childhood center, and I'm really happy and proud that it's really expanded on our Tools of the Mind curriculum.
Yes.
So we use a play-based curriculum.
So Tools of the Mind is the kids actually plan their play.
Correct, yes.
Right.
They plan their play, yes. And it's themes and center-based.
So they might have a veterinarian center.
Yes, the pet vet is actually next, Dr. Clarke.
That's right. I know that. Yes. And it's preschool and kindergarten, and the preschool has been expanding. You added a full day program, and can you just tell us what the changes are for next year?
Sure. So we have expanded our day. So we had a half day program, which was 2.5 hours. So now we're offering parents a 4-hour program for 5 days a week.
Because it was 4 days before,
It was
right?
4 days
That's
before.
tough for parents to plan.
It
and
really was. So
they cannot plan their play when they're
No,
children.
that is very true. So Monday through Friday, the students can be focused on learning. They can participate in lunch, which increases
that's
socialization
great.
opportunities.
And I hear that the enrollments or the registrations for preschool are way up.
It really has increased significantly.
So we're thinking of adding another full day for next year.
Yes, we're very excited about that.
That is
Yes.
exciting.
So it looks like all 4 classrooms will be full.
That's excellent. Wow. All right, thank you. And Mr. Trevisano, what about you?
I think for me, it echoes a lot of what Suzanne was talking about in terms of, post-consolidation, right? This is our first year really being together in the building the entire school year.
That's right.
And
It's true.
the thing that we are most proud of for sure is our culture in the building. It is a truly special place to be. You can't walk down the hallway without someone saying hello to you.
Students or staff.
100%.
And or staff, right.
100%. It's truly a welcoming place. And, we've been so thrilled to have everybody together and super excited to see kind of where we go in the future.
Excellent. Thank you. And Mr. Sullivan?
Sure. Well, as you noted, I was appointed mid-year.
Yes.
And the thing I think...
And you're so new to our district too.
Yes,
This is your
I am.
first year with our district.
Yes, a lot of new things happened this year.
Yes.
One of the things I'm really proud of is how, as a school, we adapted to all these changes really seamlessly. The staff, the students, all took on, took these changes in stride.
In administration, you mean?
In administration,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Mesker had been there for 7 years previous to me. And there really hasn't been any bumps or significant bumps in the road. It's been a pretty seamless transition. And I think that is something that everyone should be proud of. And aside from that too, we didn't just, sit back and let the year happen. We've gone full bore, built a lot of momentum, and we're making a lot of positive changes in the school. And I think it's going to great effects on a lot of things: academics, athletics, school culture, and very proud of where we're at and excited where we're heading in the future.
I am too. Yes. I mean, culture and climate is so important, right? I mean, of course, academics and all of that, but if you don't have a positive climate for learning and working, then that makes it tough. I know that's a goal for you too, Suzanne, at your school. Can you
Yes.
just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So we have our school climate committee, and each month when we meet, we really target how can we continue to support and bring excitement for our students and for our staff and for the families and the community. So that's how we focus all of our activities throughout the year. So we make sure that there's time to celebrate, because post-pandemic, we want to really enjoy each other and just celebrate being together and learning and the great things that are happening at the ECC. So we have dance parties, which I know Dr. Clarke has been a part of, every Friday. That really helps build that culture and climate. And we have various activities throughout the year that the teachers participate in. And then also extending into our spirit weeks, and we make sure that we connect that with learning as well. So
That's a great point, the spirit weeks, because that's everywhere, right? Those are so fun. And
super fun.
everybody is so into it. You know, you don't need a gentle reminder or anything like that to participate in spirit weeks. Everybody does it, right? And it's so great to see. And community too is important to all of you. I know that at the high school you have a big day coming up on Friday.
Yes, we do. It's the first annual Monson High School Community Service Day. And it's going to involve students from grade 7 through 12. I think it's going to be an outstanding opportunity for our school to get out in the community and show both our commitment to and our appreciation of, you know, the town of Monson and all the support that they've given us over the years. You know,
So where are you going? Where are the kids going?
we're going to be going all over the place. We're going to have some you know, the younger students, 7th and 8th grade, are going to be sticking closer to the school grounds. You know, it's kind of a cliche, but it's true. Like, you know, service begins at home, and this
That's
is our academic home, and
Yes.
that's where service will begin. The 9th grade students and the 10th grade students will be going to different sites throughout the community. 9th grade will be going to the Main Street business area. We'll be doing a lot of cleanup efforts in front of businesses, in front of you know, town hall, the gazebo, all the adjacent properties around there. 10th grade is going to be going to Flint Park, where they're going to help clean up the disc golf course, which is a great asset for the community. And I think that'll be really well received. And 11th and 12th graders, you know, they're a little bit older. We gave them some greater choice in the matter. And we have some students going to be going to Granite Valley into the Early Childhood Center to work with
That's great.
with our younger students. We have some of our seniors going to be going to the Monson Senior Center to work with some of the senior citizens about technology issues. You know, seniors helping seniors. I like the theme of that. We're gonna have,
I like that too.
we're going to be working on, you know, giving them tutorials on like phones and tablets and computers.
That's huge.
which I think-
One-on-one time to
One-on-one
help with
time.
their phones.
Right.
Yes.
Which I think
We could all use that.
absolutely.
I could.
And I think that'll be a really cool opportunity. We'll be going down to Adams's grocery store, the hometown market, where we're going to be collecting cans and food for open pantry. You know, we're going to be having some students going up to the Homestead hiking trail to, you know, help blaze some markers for that.
Excellent.
So a really wide array of things, and we're really excited about it.
That is so exciting. And community is so important. And Mr. Trevisano, can you talk about community and your school and
Sure.
how you connect?
Yeah, so our pitch, right? Our slogan is Granite Valley Rocks.
Right.
And Rocks drives our PBIS program.
Yes.
And all of our incentives. And Rocks stands for respect, ownership, communication, kindness, and scholarship, right? And that really interweaves all of the things that we do. And so we challenged our staff at the beginning of the year to really try to connect with all of our families. And, you know, that ranges from parent conferences, which are always packed, all the way up through open house, which we weren't able to do in the fall, but we're having a showcase in May.
That's
And
exciting.
we're looking forward to, you know, having all of our families come back, and we're doing it more of like an expo night. So if you picture like an art gallery, how you would walk through and see different exhibits, that's the goal of the evening. You know, because in May, all of the families already know their teacher,
Right.
but they may have
Right.
not seen the classroom or the
Right.
space. So that's exciting.
Because we haven't been able to have in-person events
Right.
really up until the springtime.
Right.
So
Right.
So we're looking forward to that. And then, you know, additionally, our WIT program, which stands for Whatever It Takes, is offered 2 days a week after school, which is for students who may need some additional intervention and support around math and reading. And that's a way to engage families that they'll be invited to an end of the year kind of banquet, little party as we finish up the program for the year. Additionally, you know, field days upcoming. We've already received some requests for, you know, can we come and participate? And so, you know, family is a huge part of what we do. And, one of the easiest ways is we just love saying hi to people in the car line.
That's a big, and there is quite a car line.
Oh yeah, it's a big car line.
There's one at Corey Hill too.
Yes, it's amazing.
It is. Thank you. That's awesome. And so you're having your spring expo open house, and you're having a literacy and open house.
Yes,
bingo.
it's going to be a little mix. So
Yes.
trying to make sure we meet the needs of everyone. So it will be a literacy fun night for families to come in and connect with our curriculum director about fun activities related to literacy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then another fun part is our bingo night. During COVID, we had a remote bingo session, which was super fun.
Yes.
So now we're going to have it in person. So the students and families will be very excited about that. And in
Excellent.
addition, because of the increased enrollment in preschool, we'll have a preschool open house at that time too. So
That's exciting.
There'll be a lot of people
Yay.
involved, which is really great.
That's great.
So, yeah.
And I know, Mr. Sullivan, you have perhaps a big change coming at Monson High that you were going to be sharing with parents and families soon, correct?
Yes, we're going to be looking at a very much a fundamental shift in our programming with the new schedule, and it's going to involve a lot of community education as well in terms of informing parents and families of what the changes are going to look like. So we're going to be looking at having several outreach events to document all the different things that are going to be going on at Monson High School.
Excellent.
For the future.
Can you talk about a little bit about that schedule change?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay.
The traditional schedule that we've had in Monson High School for the past 20 odd years has been a 4-block schedule. The 84-minute blocks of time, 4 classes per day, offered on a semesterized basis. We're going to be shifting that to a 6-block schedule, and the plan is to have six blocks throughout the day, 56 minutes per class. This will afford students a lot more opportunity to take classes that they're interested in. It'll reduce a lot of the difficulty in scheduling students that want to take a bunch of high-level classes, whether AP or honors level. It'll increase the amount of learning time dramatically, in core academic areas. For example, in English and math, students will be receiving an additional 2,500 minutes per year. And we talk about learning loss from COVID. This is a real way to remedy that. Also, a key part to this too is looking at our 7th and 8th grade students. Currently, students in 7th and 8th grade are operating under the same 4-block schedule that high school students are. And there's some limitations to that.
Sure.
And by putting in the 6 blocks, we'll be able to institute a real team teaching model, which is a tried and true middle school best
Yes.
practice. Be able to offer full year science and social studies as opposed to the half year that they currently get. And allow teachers and students to really develop that sense of community and that sense of team, which I think is so important for students that age.
You all talk about that, which is, why I value you at the helm there of each of your schools, because it is so important. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'm hopeful that the schedule goes through and we can.
It does as well.
Yeah.
We have big plans for it, and I think that'll really revitalize teaching and learning at our school. And
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
agree.
be more excited about it. The
Me
possibility.
too. Yes. So you talked about the learning loss and the extra minutes, and I know that's a concern. We've talked about that, since the pandemic. So, Mr. Trevisano, how you talked about WIT, the Whatever It Takes program. So, some of the kids, that we typically would say, oh, you've been in school a couple of years. They come into 2nd grade, they've never been in school, right?
Yep.
So can you just talk a little bit about how you're addressing some of that at your school?
So I wish I took video of the day that the masks came off, especially in the younger grades.
Yes.
Because they were just in class making faces at each other because they had never seen
Right.
the teeth of each other.
Right.
Right. And so,
Which could be a good thing.
and so, so many of the things that we've always taken for granted,
Right.
are no longer able, to just be assumed. And so for us, we're thrilled that our class sizes are small and will continue to be small with no class, currently above 18 for next year, which is wonderful.
That's huge.
Additionally, we currently have 2 Title I reading intervention teachers. We're looking at next year at adding an additional reading interventionist and an additional math interventionist, which will not be permanent positions, but the goal is to really build out pretty strong intervention supports that we can, then train staff on as we, hopefully can reduce the intervention need over the next couple of years. So that's one avenue. The other avenue, our social emotional support has always been really strong, and it continues to be a strength. You know, our 3 counselors are wonderful. And through their lunch groups and individual support sessions, we're really able to provide immediate support for students who are in need.
Yeah, thank you. So important. And Suzanne, you're also the director of student services, which is special education. And I know at your school and Joe's as well, you know, self-regulation, staying on task, learning the ropes, so to speak, of school is so important. What supports do you have in place there, or even across the district for that?
So that's a great question, because it's really important intervening early, especially for our students who have been home this whole time. And like Mr. Trevisano said, entering the classroom, never being exposed at all. So when we created the Early Childhood Center, I had strategically placed our support staff. We have our occupational therapist, our BCBA, our physical therapist, and our school psychologist is all available to support in the classroom. So when we go through a student referral process, we include them, and they're able to push in during some of the class time to make some recommendations and some strategies to support their learning with writing and self-regulation.
That's great.
And with
That's
the
so
tools of the
important.
mind, it's really, self-regulation is embedded in preschool and kindergarten to help reduce the behavior so we see more learning. So that's the goal
awesome.
overall.
Yeah. So as we have break next week, and then we're coming back, it'll almost be May. So what are some things you're looking forward to as we close out the year? You got big plans?
Yes.
Anybody want to talk about that?
Can I share just what we talked about this morning?
Oh, sure.
We have our super famous ABC countdown.
All right.
So if you haven't heard of that, every day we celebrate a letter of the alphabet. So we're planning all of our activities from May until the last day of school, celebrating each letter.
So the 26 days before the end of the day, the last day rather, you do something every day.
Yes.
So give me an example.
So we have
A is for?
It's going to actually be, we're inviting the alpaca to come on Monday on the last day of school. So that is going to be the conclusion of our ABC countdown. So C will be commencement day. So that's the day we will be graduating all of our kindergarten students. W is watermelon day. Q and you get married. That's very exciting.
When
we
you
have
get
a
married.
wedding in the cafeteria.
Did you know that? It's super famous.
It's very famous. So we're just talking about just concluding all those events.
We'll put them on the guest list. That's awesome. How about at the other 2 schools?
So at Granite Valley, you know, Field Day is obviously a huge event in early June. We will be happily wrapping up MCAS by the middle of May. You know, we're so impressed by our student effort so far. Additionally, our 6th grade will be, holding their graduation ceremony as well, where they step up to go up to the high school. Our Change Challenge is coming up. That's a big event. It's a fundraiser for our PBIS program. It's like an old style penny war where you want to put pennies in your grade level bucket and silver in the other grades buckets to bring their scores down. The kids get really into sabotaging.
They do.
We also, we're looking forward to welcoming the kindergartners up for their orientation and meeting the teachers and all of that. And likewise, we're looking forward to sending our 6th graders up to meet the high school staff and, begin to meet the building there.
Excellent. That's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Yes, and how about the high school?
Well, exactly the same. So, like the beginning and the end of things, like welcoming 7th graders is a huge thing, but also every secondary school, focuses so much, and rightfully so, on the end for seniors.
Right.
And, with COVID and retreat and the mask policy lifted and all these different things, we're looking for a real celebratory end of the year. We have a great senior week planned. Students will be taking a senior trip to Boston. Where they'll be able to go to a Faneuil Hall and a Red Sox game, which will be an awesome trip. There's been a shocking number of volunteers that have
staff.
We have graduation coming up, the prom coming up. There's all sorts of great things coming up. And one of the things which has been awesome to see in the past couple of weeks is the return of these beloved traditions. So much of education. We focus on academics and classes and that's the nuts and bolts of what this is. But when you talk about like building memories and building, friendships and communities, so much of it is based on these traditions. And we brought Winter Carnival back earlier this year.
We had a dance on Friday.
Amazing times, but to see a return to joy. I know we've talked about that before.
Yes.
The importance of like schools being joyous places. And during the pandemic, we patched it together as best we could, but like it was not focusing on like celebration. It wasn't focusing on joy. And like this spring really should be a celebration of all that makes Monson High School a special place.
Yes.
And could not be more excited about riding that wave in.
That's an awesome way to put it.
Yeah.
So just a couple more things I wanted to talk about. One was PBIS, because maybe you both, I think, mentioned it. And I know that Mr. Sullivan wants to consider bringing it up to the 7th and 8th grade. So what is PBIS? Does anybody want to?
Sure.
So it's our positive behavior intervention support system. So I have an example.
Yes.
I'd like to see
Yes,
Dr. Clarke if anyone. So at the ECC, when we consolidated, we really restructured it. So it's very simple. So we celebrate with stars at the ECC. So our superstar focus is our focus for PBIS, and it's staying focused, try your best, act safely, and respect others. So we tie in activities and incentives when they achieve one of these superstar focus areas. So for example, for respecting others, at the end of the year, we are tying in Community Day, where the police and the fire and the DPW come and we celebrate and we show respect toward everything that they do and celebrate them. If a student shows any of these behaviors, they earn a really fun superstar coin. And we have a very magical well at the ECC that they put the coins in.
It's super famous too.
It's super famous. And they put the coins in and they usually make a wish. And then they end up getting a special gold coin at the end. So they just collect those gold coins. It's very simple, and we have aligned all of our expectations, different building expectations.
The morning announcements include, like today was have a safe, calm body, and they do the announcements, so they have ownership.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's an example of what we do at the ECC.
And then it carries up to Granite Valley with your rocks room. And
and so it's really interesting when our kindergartners come up for the grade 1 transition, they get to paint pebbles and they go in our rock garden, because as they transition, we joke that, you get to become part of Granite Valley Rocks when you come to first grade. And so for us, students are able to earn Rocks tickets for, demonstrating desired behaviors, respect, ownership, communication, kindness, and scholarship. And we take a lot of time teaching our kids, what does this look like in the classroom, in the cafeteria, at recess, in the hallway, etc.
Right, it's one thing to say it, but what does it look like?
There's a lot of teaching, just like with the STAR focus, what does it mean to show respect at Granite Valley, right? And so students can earn their Rocks tickets, and then the big question is, well, what do you do with your tickets? And so I was really pleased. Our PBIS team last spring created the Rocks Room, which is
very cool.
It's a game room at Granite Valley, and so kids are able to spend their tickets to buy time in the Rocks Room and play games such as like a basketball arcade game. They can play air hockey. They can also like play Legos or read a book. And then one of the bigger hits is they can play some video games. So we got a Wii donated. And a Nintendo 64 donated as well. I'm not quite sure that the kids knew what to do with N64 when they first saw it. That's definitely my generation.
How about Atari?
So, that's been great. Additionally, I think one of the things that I didn't expect but has been a huge hit is our older students are using their tickets to buy time to help in first grade and second grade.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so, as I think about our culture and our climate, sixth graders working with first graders is just such a wonderful component of what our school is becoming. So we're looking forward to trying to build that out to where we can pair up, all of our grades next year.
That's awesome.
Which will be great. I guess the last piece, beginning of the year, we had a school carnival. Putting me in the dunk tank was a highlight.
And you were pied in the face.
We also had Pie Day. Yep.
That's right.
There was a lot of pie in the face of a lot of staff. And so, the PBIS program has really created the foundation for our school. And I mean, one of the things that I think my staff is tired of hearing me say is that culture eats curriculum. And so PBIS really does create the foundation for all of the academics and all of the social emotional support that we have.
It does, it really does. And Mr. Sullivan, you currently don't have any PBIS incentives now, but you think.
But as you know, this program has been so well developed, you know, at the younger grades, both at the ECC and at Greenhead Valley. Certainly, as we're moving towards hopefully a new model for 7th and 8th grade, it would make all the sense in the world, really be a no-brainer to bring it up to 7th and 8th grade. One of the things which is great about PBIS is it's scalable by grade, and you know, you can find incentives that will, you know, be appropriate and you know, act as real incentives to students at all kinds of different levels. So it's something that we're definitely looking at strongly, and I'm very hopeful that we can bring it up to the high school as well.
If anyone can, you can there, Mr. Sullivan. After that schedule, it's all. Well, I think we're going to have a part 2 because I have so many more questions to ask you three. But I do want to say thank you so much for leading these schools. These children and the staff are truly blessed to have you, and I mean it. And you're doing amazing things in curriculum and culture and climate. And those schools are vibrant, fun learning, you know, places of learning. So thank you very much for all you do.
And thank you for all your support.
Yes.
And we will have another round of this so we can talk more about all the things that are happening. And so thank you again for joining me. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Clark's Corner. And we look forward to seeing you again at our next episode. Thank you.